Namaskar, my Moflow. Are you ready for Plankapalooza? Me neither. It's going to be Plankapageddon, and it's going to be pretty hardcore. We're going to be doing lots of low-level stuff, like low-level as in low to the ground, and trying to strengthen the shoulders and work those wrists so that when we're doing other things like chaturangas and whatnots, that we're going to be able to be a little bit more solidified. So with that being said, if you do me a solid, subscribe, like, get the notifications. And at the end of this, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, or if there's something else I can help you with. Let's get started. We're going to warm up a little bit first. And I'm going to rotate a little bit so that we can see where we're going. But I'm a big fan of the traditional cat-cow. We inhale, we lift the head and the butt up, and we exhale, we tuck the head, tuck the butt around the spine, and back and forth, up and down, however you want to say it. But one thing to take notice of is to start to make sure that your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, hips over your knees, and alignment is a good thing, but that's the basis. But if you can't do that, if that doesn't feel good for you, modify. That's the big takeaway is modify for you. And I'll turn this way. I'm going to make sure that the pointer finger, booger picker, that's aiming to 12 o'clock. Everything else will fan out. So then I'm still going to stack my shoulders over my elbows and my wrists. And depending on where your shoulder width is and where you feel comfortable, that's where you need to be. You don't want to be too far, you don't want to be too narrow unless you're doing it intentionally. So back to the traditional cat-cow. And feel free to do this as much as you want, as often as you need, but also feel the liberty to kind of do a little bit side to side. If you notice, my arms are still where I left them. They're still stacked. I'm just moving a little bit. Going over the wrists will help eventually get used to doing stuff like the chaturanga, and making it a lot easier so that it's not painful to the wrists. Sitting back into a child's pose. Just for a moment. I like to squeeze make fists, squeeze fingers, crack knuckles, do whatever feels good. If you got energy and you want it, post on up onto the fingertips. And then slowly round up, bringing those palms back down. And we'll just start off in a plank. And gently rocking forward and back. Dropping down all the way. Let your chest hit first, then your hips. Flatten out the feet. Inhale, coming on up into a nice low cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, bringing it down. Hands are still underneath the shoulders. I'm trying not to move them. Inhale, lift on up. From plank down to low cobra. And then zip up the feet. Bring those elbows together. You don't want them flailing out to the right or the left. We want them kind of pulled back as if we've got a strap, bringing them to center. Engage the legs. Inhale, lift on up slowly into upward facing dog. Slightly pulling through. And then shoulders are still stacked, rolling over until I come up onto my feet into a downward facing dog. The whole time my hands really haven't moved.
If something's in your way, just kick it out. Walking your dog feels good. If you press down hard in the one leg, feeling it in the calves, that's going to feel really nice, hopefully. And then switch. Posing in there, breathing in there. And back to neutral. Inhale the right leg up high in the air. Exhale, step it forward. Drop the left knee down to the ground. Inhale, coming on up into Chandrasana moon pose. We'll get a little bit of a break off of those shoulders. Maybe even want to roll the wrists. More of that squeeze of the fingers. And then exhale, plant the hands, straighten out the left leg, step the right leg back. Chaturanga. That's a halfway push-up. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up high in the air. Exhale, step it forward. Drop the right knee down. Chandrasana moon pose. Exhale, fold forward. Planting the hands, wiggling that left foot out of the way. We're gonna straighten out the right leg. Simply step back, or see if you can find a way to make it a little bit more graceful. You're just gonna step back, boom, and be in Chaturanga. And you can rock forward and back. So you remember where your hands feel good. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And I'm going to bring it down. I want to talk a little bit about the plank position. Hands are out, pointer finger straight ahead. If you're feeling too much weight on one side, maybe on the heel of the hand, maybe on the pinkies, make sure you're pressing down on the whole hand. So I want to make sure, again, palm is down. I'm pointing my booger picker to 12 o'clock. Another great thing is to turn those triceps back behind you. So if I were to do a dolphin, I could just drop back down into it. Gonna come on up. But if I was doing a regular push-up, my elbows would be out to the right and to the left, and I would come down like that. That's not what we're looking for today. So turn, and then slightly grip the mat. Almost tenting, tenting the fingers up, spidering them a little bit. You're just trying to grip it. I don't know if you can see that my mat moves a little bit, but you want to absorb that mat so it is your stabilizer, so you don't slide or move. All right. Great things to do for wrist fatigue or that pinky side, that heel side. Just start rolling, get into some of those namaskar hands. You can work on blocks as well if that helps, if that makes you feel better. I know many students who do that. I find that it moves a little bit. I like to have control, and then they get in the way for doing other stuff. But it's all about you feeling supported. Another great option to keep in mind is if you're in any of these planks, chaturanga, there's this great little thing that you can do. You can bring the knees down. It just takes the edge off. But we're here, pushing up, down. Push up, push down. And holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plank to downward facing dog. Really seeing if you can stretch your back by pushing your chest towards your thighs, aiming your heels towards the floor, letting your head hang low. Right leg lifts. Inhale, bend the knee, open it up. Start to draw circles with it. With the knee, you can play with it. But we're going to step that right leg forward. Stabilize. We're in a low runner's lunge first. Inhale, come all the way on up and do a high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Right off the bat, I'm going to show you a super dope flow that you're not going to see anywhere else except for the Ass Moflow. Oh, as I'm wobbling. So we're in high lunge, Anjaneyasana. All of a sudden, boom, I'm in warrior one. Own that badassery. Warrior one, high lunge. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands. We're simply going to step the right leg back on top of the left. Side plank, Vashisthasana. Again, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, trying to make one long column. And you can stay here. You can do some of those fun hip dips, as many as you want. And if that sucks and you don't like it, bring your left knee down. Still work on that alignment for the shoulder over the wrist. But I'm going to step right back into that. Now, using my core, I'm going to try and just turn back. Boom. There it is. Rocking it forward to plank. Everything is stacked. Elbows get turned to the back. So in case I need to do a dolphin, inhale, exhale, dolphin. And don't feel that you're stuck here. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, dolphin. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, dolphin. You could even try and get a little tricky. Inhale, high plank, and up on your fingertips. Chaturanga. Plank, dolphin. But let's go back to that nice downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up high in the air. Exhale, bend the knee, open it up, twist it, turn it, draw circles with it, let your belly show, who cares? It's just yoga. And then we're going to step it forward. Remembering that cool transition. You're not going to see it on TikTok. You're not going to see it on Instagram. But it's pretty cool. Just kidding. Inhale, come all the way on up to that high lunge. Watch the back heel, warrior one. Right heel back up. Exhale, fold forward. I'm just going to step back. High plank. Easy way to get into it. Now just turn. Left arm up. Remember, we can do those hip dips. Or not. Maybe you're still here, just enjoying the side plank. And once more, I'm going to just try and turn back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, lift the heels, all that kind of good stuff. Bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward, and pause. We're going to turn the knees to the left, look through the hands, and dive into that upward facing dog. Rounding it, rolling it. Downward facing dog, bend the knees, lift the heels. Remember, pushing down the whole hands, twist to the right. Dive, doggy, dive. Bringing it back on. Bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward, hop, step, or jump to a Malasana squat. Great time to either take a sip of water, you can have a seat on a block. It's just a little moment to get us off our wrists. Little Travolta asana. Debating if it should be Travolta asana or fever asana, Saturday night fever asana. Going the other way. Shaking it out. Rolling the wrists again, maybe. An inverted namaskar. So if you don't need the block, don't use it. Just try to keep the knees and the toes going in the same direction. Okay, so we're going to add on to that just a little bit. Just go ahead, step right back, downward facing dog. Even in downward facing dog, my elbows are going to try and be turned down. So if I were to come down, boom, I'm into that dolphin. I don't want to bend and come down to a push-up. I want to end up mostly in a dolphin if I were to go down. Right leg lifts up high. Bend the knees, stack the hips, and then you can play with this. You can come all the way on over. Look at that, we're still in our side plank. We're just 2 points of contact. Again, core coming back through, stepping it down. Oh, look at that, another side plank. Variation. You might stay here, or again, work those arms, get those hip dips. But we're going to come back. Left leg lifts, bend the knee, open it, flip it if you want to. The important thing is to be able to breathe. I'm going to come through again. The other option over here, or on both sides, is maybe that foot doesn't ever touch. Maybe it's lifted up. And you can do little pulses. Or just enjoy the stillness. Coming back down. Downward facing dog. To child's pose. Since we've been working on the hands quite a bit, just let them kind of dangle, plop. Rolling the head a little bit. And while we're in there, go back to asking yourself, where am I feeling the pressure? Where am I feeling the pain? Shouldn't be pain, should be strain, maybe. If it's on the heels, the heel or the pinky side, push down into the center more. Work that alignment, it'll help. So, Thank you for hanging out with me. Doing a little Plankapalooza, Plank-ocalypse. You know, it's all kinds of different things that I've called it over the years. It's just a matter of moving. We're hinging and unhinging, strengthening, and hopefully feeling better. So, as you can tell, just that little bit gets my heart rate up. Sure, I'm a little overweight. I made a butter. I sweat like a pig. Just trying to breathe through it. The more you do, the more you can do. And it does become easier. So I hope that you practice that and you'll be able to start to add those kind of little variations into other vinyasas, other flows that you might be doing. But until then, keep on keeping on. And the cool in me sees the cool in you. Namaskar, Moflow.